Good morning and welcome to Smell the Coffee with Diana Master and Ashwin Mberi as we look forward to brewing the freshest news for you amongst other conversations on this wonderful morning show. How's it going, Diana?
It's going well, man.
Yeah.
It's Wednesday. Your favorite woman crush is on the screen.
All right.
I mean, yeah. You
Yes.
should have been here on Monday so that you could have been on Man Crush Monday.
Oh, would I have qualified?
No. I'm joking. I'm joking. You know I got nothing but love.
I think I look like that meme with that animal just like, what did I do to deserve this?
You definitely would have qualified.
But how's the week been for you?
It's been okay, I would say. No complaints really. Everything is smooth, going well.
Any story that stood out for you? I mean, we saw Young, Famous and African. That was interesting.
To be honest, I didn't watch it. I only watched the first season, of which I didn't even finish the first season because you know this about me. I hate reality shows.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, you're not a fan?
I'm not a fan. Not me telling people that you know me and you're like, oh, really? You're not a fan?
You're not a fan?
No, I'm not a fan. And I've seen the tweets and everyone complaining and saying that second season is flat out trash.
Oh.
These are not my words.
Okay.
This is what people on the internet are saying.
Wow.
They're saying that the second season is so very scripted. Like you can it's scripted. It's just fights. Basically, that's what the whole show is about. They meet, have lunch, fight, have dinner to discuss the lunch fight and still fight. So it's, yeah.
Okay, no, very interesting. Yeah, no, I think the concept of reality shows has never really settled well on me. Just the idea that we're scripting something to try to convince people it's real when there's a lot of elements in there that people have to work for years perhaps, and some of those relationships are manufactured in a way that it doesn't necessarily reflect how society is or how those people treat each other. I remember Bonang apparently was talking about not really knowing much about Namibia and its desert people, yet she was here for Fashion Week, which was started by Louise Munana, I would say in 2016, 2014. So, yeah, interesting stuff.
Desert people.
Yeah, something along those lines. But we have some actual news for you. Yes, real reality coming to you after the break.
Starting off our freshly brewed news this morning is some rather bad news for all of you who've been leashing off of your friends' Netflix accounts. Netflix's password sharing crackdown is here, and in the US it costs $7.99 per month. Netflix is about to kick your best friend off your account unless you pay for them to share your account, that is. On Tuesday, Netflix revealed the details of how its crackdown on password sharing will affect viewers in the US and how much it will cost to keep extra people on your account. If you have the Netflix standard plan that costs $15.49 per month, then you have the option of adding one extra member who can use the service outside your household for $7.99 extra each month. Anyone who pays for the Netflix premium package with 4K streaming has the option of adding up to 2 extra members, but each one will still cost another $7.99. The US isn't the only country where the new rules are rolling out either, as Netflix in the UK will charge subscribers £4.99 each for extra member slots, and it's only a matter of time before we see that in Africa.
Netflix. Let me tell you about Africa. Okay, if I don't have salt, I go next door. If I have a cousin, they're called my sister or my brother. If I have a child I can't take care of, the aforementioned sister or brother will take care of them. Everything about this place is community, and we've seen this before Netflix. You see, there's this company called Twitter, which also thought it could adjust the things that made people come to the application in the very first place. This, unfortunately, the way I'm seeing it, is part of the reason Netflix is going to go down in streams in the near future, because you can't have it both ways. That's just how life works. Sometimes the sacrifice is the only reason you made a profit. And that's what brought people to Netflix. It wasn't just the shows, the idea that I can connect other people to this one account and still watch the shows. I'm just saying, keep an eye on that one.
And to be honest, like you did say, it's going to go down, but we've already seen Netflix is struggling from the time they introduced the whole ads thing, and then also just the content that Netflix is producing nowadays. Like most of the movies on Netflix, it's like, what is this? Who approved this script? We've seen there's a new show. It's called what? Exo Kitty. Yeah, it's from the To All the Boys Who I've Ever Loved franchise. And so basically, Koreans are mad because they're saying this show is depicting and putting unrealistic standards of love in Korea. Because it's basically this white girl that goes to Korea to find a Korean boyfriend. And with all these unrealistic romantic standards. So now Koreans are mad because they're like, no.
It's not like that.
It's not like that. You're literally targeting us and painting this false picture. So...
yeah, Netflix, eh? We'll be checking on you. We'll be checking on you. Now, swing down to Namibia. Very, very interesting story. See, the Ministry of Justice says the number of child maintenance cases in the country has increased since 2020, with Windhoek accounting for the majority of the increase. A total of 582 child maintenance cases were filed in 2020. By 2023, that number has increased to 1,085. Now, according to the ministry, a total of 3,713 child maintenance cases were recorded from April, and a lot of them were actually targeting absent fathers. This is in the Namibian. Wow.
Wow, wow, wow. And to be honest, these cases, how many other single mothers are out there that are not going to maintenance court? It means these numbers are probably triple, like it's probably triple.
Definitely.
Because you do find mothers that are like, you know what, it's not worth it to be chasing after this guy. I'll just take care of my child
just leave it alone, yeah.
Just leave it alone.
Which is, of course, like, a sad occurrence. And you also find fathers who don't think they can go to maintenance court because they are absent mothers. There are women who do not show up when they're supposed to. And it seems like everyone doesn't understand their rights before the law, but ultimately what it definitely leans towards is that there's more absent fathers than there's anything, and that in any society, you can read a book, pick up a series, heck, you can even watch Netflix. That is not sustainable for any society. So men, I'd say now is a good time to step up, because for Windhoek we're talking 2,426 reported cases.
Keyword, reported,
which means it could definitely and probably is much, much worse.
For those that don't actually take these cases up further.
Yeah. Look, I have issues with maintenance with regards, I won't lie, I understand you definitely, especially children, the most precious thing you can have in this world. You're supposed to do your best to fight to make sure that both parents are responsible. And the only way I can understand it as someone who does not have children himself is my puppy.
Yeah.
Yes, because I owned my puppy with someone else, previously, and them not being in my puppy's life messes with my mind every single day.
Yeah.
It's not something that gives me any joy, only because I know my puppy loves them. You know what I'm saying? So even if I don't have a relationship with that person, I understand the value of maintaining a connection that was already created. Now, if I can understand that about a puppy, what more when you have a child?
What more when you have a child? It's really not that difficult, guys, because like you said, it takes two people to make a baby.
Yes.
It's not just, oh, the mom made a baby or the dad made a baby.
No,
it takes two to tango. So why is it now you as a man feel, oh my goodness, it's okay for me to abandon my responsibilities? You know what? You're a woman. You're a strong, independent woman, aren't you? You've got this. No, sir. Come take responsibility.
Take responsibility. Being a single mother is very, very difficult.
It's difficult.
And a lot of people get off on glorifying it. But if you ask those single mothers if they would have rather had help, I promise you 100% of them would have preferred to have help.
Speaking of single mothers, I mean, we briefly were speaking about it this morning, how Kim Kardashian was saying she cries herself to sleep. Being a single mom.
That's Kim Kardashian. She's sleeping on $1 million cushions and she's still crying.
She's still crying, let alone this woman that you decided to abandon. You know what? No, I'm not going to get into this. But anyway, moving over to some rather bizarre, I would say, news. Is that tacky? A bride-to-be wants to sue wedding guests if they RSVP but they don't show up. There's nothing worse than catering for someone and they don't show up at the wedding. So to combat this problem, this bride-to-be wants to take rather drastic measures to ensure that those guests who RSVP that they'll be attending do in fact show up. Now, in a post on Facebook, which was later shared to Reddit's wedding shaming group, she wrote, "I love my family dearly, but sometimes they're flaky. I'm getting married in October of 2024, and when I send out invitations, I want to put on the invitation that if they RSVP and don't come, I'm taking them to court for the cost of their portion of food and services I paid for. Is that tacky? Obviously, there's no cost to them if they RSVP and actually come." Thoughts?
I don't think anyone RSVPs a wedding without intending to go to the wedding. I generally believe if someone can't make it to a wedding, they can't. And if I was one of your guests, I was definitely never coming to your wedding. I'm not going to be coerced into celebrating somebody. And for me to get heart palpitations, should I get sick, should I have to take care of my children, or should I have another commitment? That's crazy. So, you know, good thing your parents love you. They'll be there.
You know, people are actually responding to this and saying the fact that you have to ask, is this tacky, is concerning.
Who are your guests?
Who are your
You
guests?
don't trust your people?
Like, honestly, and someone said, if I was, like you said, if I was your guest, that's one surefire way that, you know what, I'm not going to come anyway. Why are you threatening me to come to your wedding?
First of all, opening up a court case costs way more than at least 10 plates. That means you are just petty. You're a petty person,
no.
and now you're going to force people to come to your wedding. No, and also, yeah, there'll be food left. Have people ever left food over at a wedding? What kind of, is this an African person?
No.
Yeah, they're not, because we don't leave food on the table.
We
I don't even know. I got 2 cousins today that I know if I put 10 plates,
they can finish it up.
and I'll be proud of them for it. All right, so speaking out to something that definitely does not warrant any form of pride, particularly on Spain's part, we understand that Vinicius Jr. suffered a racist attack against Valencia very recently, and Spain's left-wing government and its sports institutions have been unanimous in apparently condemning racism in football. However, claims that Sunday's incident reflected a broader malaise have proved to be more contentious. La Liga has a problem. Real Madrid's Italian coach Carlo Ancelotti told an interviewer after the game. Vinicius Jr. went further, saying that in Brazil, Spain is known as a country of racists. The president of La Liga, Javier Tebas, rejected such claims. He tweeted in Spanish, Portuguese, and English, "Neither Spain nor La Liga are racist. It is unfair to say this." He also said that La Liga has denounced 9 cases of racist insults so far this season. Others have taken a similar line, suggesting that Valencia or even Spain is also a victim because of the reputational damage the episode has caused. I don't know if the La Liga chairman has Twitter or if he's ever seen a racist statement before of someone who was racist. That's exactly what they say. I promise you, 100%. Reputational damage, yes, that's the focus. And to say it is unfair to say this. Why is it unfair to say something that someone really actually went through? And you've got black people saying it was racist, white Italians telling you it was racist. I don't know where in the spectrum in between over here, what you need to find for you to understand that this is a serious issue. If Brazil is going to switch off the lights on Christ the Redeemer in support of Vinicius Jr., Christ the Redeemer has got flowing hair. He does not have an afro. They switched off that light just to show and to emphasize how wrong it is that this is happening. We saw it on our screens. You can't gaslight us. We saw it on our screens. This man facing racial abuse. They're saying about 3 people have been detained. I saw choirs of people singing racist things and making monkey noises even as he was arriving and leaving the stadium. So I certainly hope this can be fixed. There's no room for racism in football. The greatest ever footballer was Pele. He was black. Part of his struggles starting was because of racism. Racism has never benefited everybody. Football, there's a reason I love football, because the ball is round, which to me kind of signifies the world. It is one unified ball, and our only goal is to get that ball into the net. You know what I mean? And the last thing we should be doing is saying mean things to each other because of how we look. It's ridiculous.
But we've seen these cases in football, and it's really sad. I mean, we've seen banana peels being thrown onto the pitch. It's so bad. And the fact that he's basically downplaying this, like, you know what, it's not that
And in reply to
serious.
Vinicius Jr.'s tweets himself, Not once
Like-
did he say, sorry you went through this. So
Exactly.
Vinicius Junior is supposed to protect the reputation of Spain at large when he can't even be protected in one game in Valencia.
And he's one person.
And he is one person. So, of course, this has to be fixed. Yeah. There's no
Definitely.
room for it. Black, white, Indian players. One of my favorite players is Tomiyasu, who's Japanese. I promise you, race plays no factor in football. All that is people enjoying a sport they love, a sport that is beautiful, and there's no reason to be divisive about it.
Let's all just sit and watch grown men kick around a ball, guys.
Exactly.
It is fun.
It's fun. Manchester United hasn't qualified for the Champions League.
You
There's
know what,
real things
Ashwin?
happening in life.
Anyway, in some light-hearted news, Yolanda Nell interviewed the Muffin Man, and Christopher Duplessis explains how you can become involved in his charity. We'll be back with this interview right after this break.
Welcome to Active Kids, a daily TV show that sparks creativity, learning, and fun for young minds. With exciting activities and lessons, Active Kids inspires curiosity and a love for learning.
New face to the 150.
The perfect mix of play and education. Don't miss out on the fun. Tune into Active Kids on NTV every weekday at 10 o'clock and let the adventure begin. Welcome to Active.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am joined with Christopher Duplessis in studio, and you have been dubbed the Muffin Man.
Yolanda, thank you for having the Muffin Man. Christopher's just a sidekick.
Quickly tell us, what are you doing? Why are you the Muffin Man?
Okay, so let's make a long story short. I've been contacted with a few friends that wants to swim the English Channel. And there must be a cause for it as well, so the big thing is a cause. And I asked them, guys, what is it about? And they've registered a trust called the Ladybug Trust. Okay. And the Ladybug Trust is, in short, it's a charity that generates money for families that's children is in ICU in NICU. Wow. And NICU stands for Neonatal Intensive Care Unit. And I can only tell you that it's sad. It's, it hurts actually someone's heart, and I don't want to go into it so much, and it touched my heart to say, guys, what are we going to do? And they said, let's take up a challenge. We all swimmers, and they said, let's swim something extreme. Something more extreme than the English Channel you don't get. I think maybe if you swim in the Arctic, yes, maybe that. But I'll leave it to those penguin guys. But yes, so that's why we're doing it. There's a trust, we're swimming for a trust, and we're swimming very soon. So that's also another one. So I know that you want to ask me about that as well. And I'm going to, let's go through it. So in 2 months' time, to be exact, in 2 months' time, we are swimming the English Channel. It's 3:40 in the morning is our slot on the 23rd of July. Wow. But we're there already from about the 18th. So it's all depending whether there's lots of people from all over the world coming there to Dover in England to swim the channel. And our slot is 3:40 in the morning. It could change. So whether can say, listen, you swim a day earlier, a day later, 2 days earlier, depending on the weather. So it's quite extreme. It's a very busy channel with all the ferries and the boats going to and fro. So it's a very coordinated event. Still we're doing it.
How do you prepare yourself to make sure that you and the team that you're ready to take on that challenge?
Good question. So, we only have what we have in Munich. So luckily it's winter. So the very, very important is we need to get swim fit. And then the climate or the temperature. So the water is fairly colder. Even that summer, it's still between 15 to 17. And 17 is great. Then it's great. It's warm relatively, but it's not really warm. So we now got permission and paid for that we swim in the municipality swimming pool early in the mornings. And it's freezing cold. I can tell you that it's freezing cold.
That does not sound enjoyable to me at all.
Not at all. The other option we have is going to the coast. The coast, obviously, it's 800 kilometers. It's costly just for one swim, so that you must really coordinate. And then we've got the dams close to us. fairly close, like the Rehoboth Dam and Okahanya Dam that we can also swim in. But that, yeah, again, it's coordination, get away from work. So we do with what we have. I go and swim in the gym in Virgin Active, and we use the outside pool. That's why we try.
So you have 2 months left, but for how long have you been preparing?
Okay, so preparing, so I've been swimming quite some time, and all the other guys, so we've got a fair amount of swimming, fitness, swimming, muscle memory. I've started last year November preparing. Okay, so I've started last year November preparing, and we've swam a few competitions, but mostly for preparation. I spent about 2 weeks ago, I spent about 10 days in Swakopmund, also preparing. So I worked there, and then I took time to also go swim in the mornings. And there you had a challenge of the seals. There's so many seals in that water, and that really scares you. And you have to coordinate with someone to have a canoe with you. Most of the times no one can, because they have to work. You have to go swim early in the mornings. So you can hear there was quite a bit of obstacles.
How many people are in your team?
Okay, so we 4 in the team, and I'm going to mention them by name. So John Valentine, Roel Spannenberg, Christopher Du Plessis, myself, and Wayne Andrea. So for a moment, Wayne's out of my head. And we're all relative swimmers. So I don't want to say we're not Olympic swimmers. We can all swim. We've got all a background of swimming. So, but still, you can hear in my voice, I'm still scared. I think something like that scares you. And you should be scared. You know, not worried, but scared.
Why is it important to take up a challenge like this?
I believe that first of all, people don't just grab challenges and do it. That's the first thing I say. So I believe you must do it for something, or some goal, or something must drive you. It's easy to swim today and quit tomorrow, or say I'm not less, or cycle. I go cycle on the weekend and I do it for my fitness. But that's why I say when we all ordinary people. I say the difference is we want to do ordinary things, and it's within yourself. Yeah. It's within yourself to say what's happening, what's going on, and I'm going to elaborate just a little bit. We quite a few years ago we started a cycling club. It was a charity club again, very similar to Ladybug, and we cycled literally for cancer. Ralph will confirm that for cancer. And we started, it was called a 24-hour cycle event.
I remember that.
You remember that? And we generated so many funds, and it was awesome. It had a season, and it passed, but it was awesome. So constantly I'm asking myself, Chrissy, what are we going to do now? What are we going to do now? So the Muffin Man came up. Yeah. I said to myself, I don't have the funds to go do this. I need to help the charity. And so I'm selling muffins. And that's why you can see the muffins on the table.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to eating these muffins later on.
You constantly want to put your hand on them. But yes, I've started the muffin drive for myself, to generate funds for myself and to go and do it. You know, it's very costly. I don't even want to, if you want to know the figures, I can give you some figures, but it's very costly. It will surprise you, the cost involved. Yeah. And yeah, so I'm driving the muffins, and I must say the corporates has really climbed on board. People's ordered dozens and dozens, hundreds. I think I'm over 1,000 muffins already. Over 1,000 muffins are sold in this month alone. I bake it myself, so that's a big question. Many people think it's impossible. Yes, I can do it. And I spend time after work baking the muffins, and I deliver them. Yeah.
Where can people order the muffins, and how does it work? Do you take orders every day or only sometimes during the week?
So 100%, I put out my cell phone number out there. I know it's risky, but yes, I do it because the charity, it's the drive. And I take orders for Mondays and Fridays to obviously do the weekend or day before, and I do bake it the evening before because it needs to settle, and I made sure of all my ins and outs that I don't give you old muffins. And yes, I deliver on Mondays and Fridays. I wanted to mention something else, but yes, I wanted to mention that there's a boat guiding us as well. I know there's lots. I just wanted to share that a little bit. So it's not a dinky toy boat. It's quite a big boat, like a small fishing boat. And they communicate then with all the other boats in the channel, if we can, but it's a sea, 38 kilometers, so it's quite a distance, and that's what I want to mention. So us 4, we will swim in a relay. So you don't swim in a distance relay, you swim in a time relay. So you swim per hour, and then the aim is to swim it in 18 hours. So that's our aim.
Sure.
And you swim in a typical S format, so it's a first against the current, with the current, and again against the current the last little bit. And that's the idea.
I am just going to say good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking up the fight. Thank you for making sure that you want to be part of the change.
Yes, thank you.
I will find something else to do and not swim.
Yes, yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will be back shortly.
Well, that's all we have for you today, but fear not, we will be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Because Ashwin doesn't like to say it, I will say it. All our love, all our light, and adios.
Cheers.